Hi, I'm Anna Helman. I'm glad you're here. When it comes to making Christmas cards, it can take some time and some planning to make sure you're ready to send your handmade cards out when this season arrives. Today I want to share with you some time-saving ideas for making Christmas sentiment tags and die cuts for your cards. I've shared several videos and tutorials on how to save time and make a lot of cards in a short amount of time, but typically I avoid using die cuts because die cutting can be time consuming. Today I have some really fun products and some really fun tricks to save you time, make some beautiful die cuts, which are sentiment tags you can prep and have ready for when you do want to make your cards if you like to batch prepare things. But I'm excited to share this with you. Let's get started. The bundle I'm using that makes today's video possible is this Christmas Banners bundle. Now you may be able to do what I'm sharing with other products if you piece and part different die sets and stamp sets together, but I love that this bundle makes it work all as one. So what I'm going to do is, because it has 3 banner dies and 3 banner stamps all included, I'm able to do 3 at each time, each step of the way with my die cutting and my stamping, and you'll see how this works. But I wanted to show that to you right here before we get started. The first thing I want to do is my die cutting. Now I've already done some to prep, but I want to show you one of the steps. We'll crank this through one time and cut a few. I have white cardstock here, and I figured out I was able to cut out all 3 of these from 1/4 of a sheet of cardstock. So these measure 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And you may have noticed I stacked 2 on top of each other. When I am bulk preparing, batch preparing cards, and I need quite a few, I do die cut 2 layers at a time sometimes. Now when your machine is brand new, it may be too tight. You don't ever want to force anything through your machine that acts like it doesn't want to go. But after I use my machine for quite a while, it's not really a problem at all to be able to get my die cut, my dies through along with 2 sheets of cardstock. This is my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I love this machine. If you're interested in details about it, I'll link you in the video description below to a video you can take a look at. If you're curious how I keep my cutting plates so flat, these are fairly new ones, but I have old ones you cannot see through. They've been used so much, that are just as flat as these. I'll put a link down there as well for a really helpful tip for how to keep those plates flat. Now when you cut through 2 layers, you do have to pop them out. A lot of times they like to stay stuck there, and then you have to pop them apart. They like to stick together on the edges. But this can really save a lot of time, being able to die cut 3 of your banners at once and 2 thick. So with 1 crank through my machine, I just cut 6 banners out, and the time saving will continue when I show you how we're going to stamp these. I already have some stacks of these die cuts here. I will lay these on top, and I will mention they're not exactly symmetrical. So you want to make sure I find it easier if I lay them in a way so they line up perfectly. And here in a moment, you'll see why this is helpful. But we'll stack these up so that they match up. That is the wrong way. It's close, but not exactly. Okay. And then this last one is easy to figure out. So I'll set these off to the side for a second. And what I need is to bring in my Stamparatus. Since the stamps for this banner set are photopolymer, I want to make sure I have my foam mat in the bottom. And there are 2 ways to line up and stamp 3 of these tags at one time. Let me show you one of them, but then I am actually going to do a second way that I find a little bit easier. It works a little bit better for me. So one thing you can do is tape this piece, your negative piece, to your base. And once you have it taped on there, you can line up these stamps where they go with the holes. Now, this may be easier for you. While I'm on camera, a lot of times I don't get stamps lined up perfectly when I'm doing things like this. So I'm going to do it my second way, but just wanted to share with you, this may be easier for you. So once you have them lined up perfectly, you can bring your plate over, attach them. And what you'll be able to do is put one banner in this hole, one banner in this hole, one banner in this hole, your die cuts, of course, get them fit in there so that they're in there and they fit perfectly. Ink up your stamps. You can stamp all three at the same time. Now let me share with you the alternative way that I find works a little bit better for me. So I am just going to place these banners wherever I feel like it. It doesn't really matter a whole lot. And I am going to need to make sure my grid paper stays in the very corner for this. Sometimes I end up taping it in place to hold it where I want it. So I am going to stamp once onto this grid paper background, and it, like I said, doesn't matter where these end up. But once I do this, I just don't want to move my stamps from where they're at on the plate. Okay, now that that is stamped once, what I can do is cut these negatives apart, and I believe I actually have too thick. So I can leave them too thick if they stay. I thought having them too thick might make it a little bit easier to pop my pieces in and out since it would be a deeper spot, but it looks like these are going to pop apart as I'm cutting them. So I will just use one. When you die cut your pieces, you do want to make sure you have a little bit of a border around each one of them, because you will need that little border to tape these in place. Cut a little bit extra off, see if they fit, and if not, I can trim some more. So as you can see, this may take a little bit more setup, but I typically find I get them centered perfectly this way, whereas with the other way, sometimes I'm close, but not quite centered. So I'll grab some washi tape. Any kind of tape will work since you're taping to that paper in the background. But you just want to line this up so that the stamp is centered within that negative piece. Does it go this way? Nope. Goes this way. Like I said, these are close to being the same both directions, but not exactly. And I'll try this with a little bit of tape. I may need to come back and add some more. Do you ever do things and you lose things? I thought I had one of these here, but I'm not seeing it. So grab this one over from the side. And I can get rid of that little piece on the end. So this takes a couple of minutes to set up, but it is so worth it. Okay, let's try this. We'll see if we have enough tape there. I am going to put a little bit of tape underneath here. I want to make sure it's not in the way of where I'm stamping. Okay, now let's pop some of these pieces in here. We'll pop in one of each. And sometimes when I have funny shaped pieces, what I like to do is line them up over off to the side the exact same way they're going to fit in. So this one fits in this direction. I'm going to set these here facing that direction. This one, I need to flip upside down, I believe. So I'll get them the way they need to be. I'm double checking this because this one's tricky. Okay, and I'll set them off to the side in that same way. That way, each time I grab one from the pile, I know that it's lined up the right way, goes in a little bit faster. So I pop one into each of those spots. Ink up the stamps and give it a good press. Here you can see I got all 3 of those tags stamped what looks like almost perfectly. Now, of course, there's never perfect in handmade cards, but it's close. Now, if you want to go ahead and stamp the greetings while these are here, this is part of the magic of the Stamparatus here with your extra plate. What you can do is line up some greetings over top. This one says, "'Tis the season." We'll do Merry Christmas on this one. And these stamps all come in this bundle. So I love that I can do all of this at the same time. There's enough stamps here. I can actually prepare 3 tags at one time with 3 separate greetings. Now, if you prefer Merry Christmas and you prefer not using season's greetings, for instance, you can just line these up a separate time and stamp your Merry Christmas on all of them. So now that I have those in place, I will bring this plate down. Now these like to pick up my tags, especially when I didn't have any ink on the stamp. Let's ink these up, and I could use a different color if I want. I'll go ahead and stick with the same color for these. But on my next round, I am going to choose a different color for all of them. You will see here in just a moment. So we have "'Tis the Season," Season's Greetings, and Merry Christmas here. So what I can do now, I want to pop these out. You can pull them out with your fingers, or if you find you have a little bit of a hard time, the sticky end of the Take Your Pick tool is really helpful for this. Now I'm going to clean my stamps since I'm going to switch colors. If you want to do all the same color, of course, you won't have to worry about this step. Save yourself a few seconds. But I want to show you how we can do several colors and end up with a variety of tags. So I'll put these back in, put a new one in. I hope you stick around. I want to show you the cards that I am going to be using these on that are really nice Christmas card ideas that come together so quickly. Since I was sharing this for time saving and to help you prep for those Christmas cards, I thought I would actually share some finished card ideas that you can use them on that come together really fast. So if you want to, you can ink up both plates at the same time. Put that one back in place the right way. I flipped it, of course. So as you likely know, if you are a paper crafter, which I imagine you are if you're watching along, die cutting can really be time consuming, especially when you need quite a few cards, like for Christmas. So this is a way you get these beautiful die cuts for your projects. They're detailed, they have that coordinating stamped image with the die cut perfectly around, but we can get lots of these in a short amount of time. Okay, let's do one more with an outline, and then I'm going to save the rest of this to do after we wrap things up. But what I want to show you this time is a little bit different. I'm going to stamp the outline. So you may be wondering if you think like, oh wow, that looks really useful, but then you think, oh well, could you use it with any other greetings, or could you use it with, oh, don't forget to put your tags in. I get ahead of myself sometimes. So I will have to ink that up again. But I want to show you how to use it with some other stamps so that you could really get a lot of use out of this and use it for any other kinds of cards you want. Birthday, thinking of you, just because. So we'll stamp that. Put this back in. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to line these up on some just regular acrylic blocks. And I'll pull these out. We'll scoot the Stamparatus aside for the time being. I'll show you how you can add your personalized greetings, any of the greetings you want to use. So here's how to do this. I am going to use this one and this one. Here's a stamp I pulled in from the Sending Smiles stamp set. It says, sunshine to brighten your day. A lot of the stamps in this set I think would work in the way I'm going to show you here in just a second. And here is what we're going to do. Since this is long and skinny, it is very easy for me to ink up just part of that stamp. So I inked up the words sunshine and to. Now when I put this stamp on my block, you can see I curved it a little bit to make it line up with the curve of the die cut. Photopolymer stamps are really nice for this purpose. And now I am going to ink up, I cleaned it over here off screen. I'm going to ink up just the brighten your day. Okay, so this is a perfect way to be able to use this idea with your other greetings for other occasions and other times of the year. Here is a happy birthday stamp. I pulled this one in from Lovely and Lasting. And I could ink up just the top and stamp the word happy in the top and the word birthday in the bottom. But what I'm going to do is show you another way to do this, because sometimes the letters overlap, like especially, here's an example. So this thank you stamp right here, the T comes down lower. So if you ink down low enough to get all of that T inked, you're going to have part of your other word here as well. So if you have a stamp like this and you want to use it in this way, what works really well is to grab a marker. And when I do this, I like to color with my marker horizontal, not vertical. When it's horizontal, you get a lot more surface area of that marker tip to cover the stamp. And it also reduces the chances that you're going to damage your marker tip. Okay, I am stamping over here in the background. I cleaned off my stamp, and this time I will ink up the word birthday. So the flexibility of this set is really, really nice to be able to use it with other products besides what comes in the bundle, okay? So there you have some ideas for how to use this. Now let's take some of these tags we just created and let's finish some cards. Here are some cards that I prepped. I made these using the Sweetest Christmas designer paper, which is one I've been having a lot of fun with. It's so cheery and bright. It does coordinate with a candy cane bundle with a die set, but today I didn't want to use the candy canes. I wanted to use these really cute greetings. And actually, while I'm thinking about it, that candy cane bundle would be a nice one to pair with this, because the candy cane bundle has 2 candy cane stamps and 2 candy cane dies. So you could do kind of what we're doing with these tags, but you could do 2 candy canes each time if you want to stamp and cut them out to go with cards like these or some other ones if you want. So what I did, I prepared card bases in 3 different colors. My large piece of designer paper measures 4 by 5 1/4. I used the decorative circle punch to create this. Punches are so quick and easy. And then I added a little bit of some nice ribbon over top. If you have questions about any of these products that I'm talking about, or you want some more information, or you're interested in ordering them, there are links in the video description below that you can take a look at. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on the backs of these tags, and I can attach them really quickly to these cards. To put my dimensionals on the back of the card, I really like to use my Take Your Pick tool, the piercing end, to pick them up and put them on. And then it is also helpful to remove that paper backing if you have a hard time with your hands, with pain, or with getting them to work quite right with small items. This is really helpful. And I can, when I remember, put that dimensional on and lift up the paper backing at the same time, which I'll show you here in a second. Now, I'll push, usually when I'm doing this, I just push that off with these 2 fingers over in my trash can off to the side. Here I will show you, so I can put that on and lift that paper backing up all at the same time. 2 more on this one, and then I have one last tag to do. Some of you may be thinking, heavens to Betsy, isn't she going to use some more dimensionals? If we were off camera, I would probably put some more on here, but to save a little bit of time, we will be minimalistic. So now I just have to remember which tag I had planned on using with which card. These 2 with the tag in the center, I wanted to put these nice curved ones. And then this one I plan to use with this card. Here's one for this card. And then these. Put the red one down here and the green one up here. So I'll probably add a few embellishments to these to add a little bit of sparkle or just a little bit something extra to step them up. But I hope this gives you some ideas of how to simplify your Christmas card making or any other types of cards that you batch prepare and do quite a few at the same time. Thanks so much for being here today. I appreciate you. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope you'll be back again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.